Hi, I'm Clara Hermit, this is my YouTube channel, and this is another Naked Truth. So I want to say a massive thank you to all of you for commenting on the last video. Hopefully you will drop some more comments on this video. And of course you can drop in the comment section anything that you would like me to cover on Naked Truth or uncover. No, I'm joking. A few weeks back someone said that they wanted me to talk on rejection, and so I've decided that today is the day to talk about rejection. I think there's loads of different types of there's loads of different types of rejection. It could be rejection in the terms of like career, like you apply for a job and you don't get it. It could be rejection in terms of a relationship. It could be in terms of family. There's so many different ways in which I guess rejection can show up in our lives, and it can kind of like completely bowl us over, knock us out. Mama said knock you out. The biggest thing about rejection is that we're not kind of taught that it's part and parcel of life, and I think that a lot about negative emotion. We don't have any like coping mechanisms. We're not really given any tools. It's just like, here, have a go at life. Pretend to everyone else that your life is great when really it's actually falling apart behind the scenes. But that's how you boss life. That's not how you boss life, actually, at all, in my experience. The best way to deal with rejection, in my experience, is to talk about it, and is to get back up and do the same thing again. The way that you think about it and the way that you kind of feel about it and the way that you view it, I guess, because you could allow one rejection, and this has happened I'm sure to lots of people, to stop you from ever doing or pursuing that thing ever again, because it hurt you so much and you built it up so much in your head, and then hearing that no, or you know, you didn't get the job, or I don't want to be with you, or I'm putting you in the friend zone, or whatever it is, kind of completely knocks you because it's not what you wanted to hear. But rather than getting back up stronger and better, you don't. You kind of just stay there. So you stay in your comfort zone and you never leave it because you're too fearful of what's going to happen if you do. And then if you look at people that are super successful, or people that you aspire to, they will be the kind of people who, they don't care about rejection. They would have been rejected so many times. They would have failed so many times, but they would have got back up and done the same thing or slightly differently. They would have learned from those rejections, they would have learned from those failures, and they would have used it to strengthen them as opposed to like block them, stop them and destroy them, I guess. I don't think that that's kind of like, there's, you know, some people who know how to do it, there's some people who don't know how to do it. It could be what you've seen growing up in your life, like how you've seen other people deal with rejection. It could be just something that happens in your mind where you're like, no, if I stop now, if I allow this to stop me now, then that's it. You know, my dream is over. So it's that kind of determination, I guess, as well, to get whatever it is that you want to get in life. What do you think about rejection, Luna? Yeah, she's out. Overcome rejection is about honesty, and it's about being able to be really honest about how you're feeling and what you're experiencing, and I think that's really important. If you deny things, and this goes for any emotional thing that we're going through, we're humans, we have emotions. So when people go, no, and I do this because I've mostly heard men say this, no, I've turned my emotions off, yeah, I just don't have any, I'm like totally in my logical brain, I don't have emotion. Okay, you may be thinking you're living like that and that's working out for you, but I can tell you right now that that is not possible. So if you're not processing those emotions, if you're not dealing with those emotions, then you're forcing them to live somewhere else within you. They're not going anywhere because they have to be seen through. Your emotional system is like your digestive system. It goes in one end and it goes through this whole entire system, and then it comes out and we release it and we let go of it. But if you get the emotions and then you go, no, and I don't want to feel them, and I'm not going to process them, and I'm not going to deal with them, then that would be like eating loads of food and then saying, nope, I'm not going to deal with it, I don't want to process it, I'm just going to leave it there. And then that food would start to rot and fester, it would start to cause you big problems, and that's exactly what happens with unprocessed emotion. We've been taught for so long that we should be steely and be strong and, you know, not show emotion, and that we shouldn't talk about it, and that I think is to blame probably for the huge increase that we have in mental health issues in this country, that we have in suicides, especially in men, because we know that, you know, there is this kind of emphasis that it's okay for a girl to be emotional, it's okay for a girl to cry or a woman to cry, but it's not okay for a man. They need to be strong, they need to be tough, they need to not show emotion. I think that's really dangerous. That's kind of where we are right now. With rejection, it comes with a lot of emotions. It hurts. Mate, I've been rejected in all different kinds of ways. Love rejection or career rejection, so much. And I have let that rejection shape my current existence. I have allowed those rejections to changed the way that I believe about things. So now I've realised that when I go to do something, I expect to be rejected. I expect to be told no. And as I've mentioned in so many of these Naked Truth videos, the thoughts that we have are creating our reality. So if I'm thinking it's going to be a no, guess what? It's going to be a no. And I have the ability to use my imagination to really kind of create strong visions and visualizations whereby I see something different. I don't just see it, I feel it, I experience it, and by doing that I can actually change the outcomes. That's my belief, and I've seen evidence of that, so I'm going to keep believing that and keep working with that. So when it comes to rejection now, I'm like testing myself. I am being really testy with myself and putting myself out there more, and you know, just introducing myself to people and telling people what I want, because if they say no, they say no, but that's okay. It doesn't need to destroy me. It doesn't mean that I'm less of a person, that I'm less worthy, that there's something wrong with me, because we're two individual people. So, you know, it might be that if it's career-wise that it's not the right match, or there's something for me to learn from that experience, or there's something better waiting for me. If it's love-wise, it might be that that person just isn't in the same place as me and they're not meant for me. And that's what has been, I think, the biggest learning when it comes to rejection, is what's not meant for me is not meant for me, and what is will find me. So whereas before I used to hate the idea that, you know, like if it was a guy, that a guy didn't want me, and I would chase and chase and chase and chase, but that puts me in a position where I'm kind of feeling like a bit desperate, and that's the vibe and the energy that I'm putting out. So I'm just going to keep creating more situations where I feel like that. So that's one problem. And B, that person's not meant for me, because if they were meant for me, it wouldn't be that difficult in the first place. So me chasing them means I'm pursuing something that isn't meant for me. So I put all of that time and energy into pursuing this thing, pursuing this thing, pursuing this thing, and I get it, and then I'm like, oh, I don't actually want it, or it doesn't work out and it brings me more pain and more hurt. So sometimes you have to realize, I'm not saying you shouldn't put any effort or energy into things, of course you should, but sometimes you have to realize that if it's not meant for you at that time, that you just let it go, because staying in that anguish and that desperation of wanting it so badly and being so fixated on it having to happen that way, or having to be that person, or having to happen right now, without having any like patience or ability to just kind of say, this is what I want, but I'm just gonna let go of it. This wasn't the right experience for me. I've been rejected. It doesn't affect the way that I see myself. And that comes down to having self-love and self-worth, because if you love yourself and if you value yourself, you know your value, you know your worth, so no one can take that away from you. Someone can say to you, no, but you know that that's nothing to do with you. You know that it's obviously not the right opportunity. You know that you are the person that you are, and you can go back to yourself and check in and be like, well, you know, I did everything I could in that situation. Okay, it didn't work out, but that's not going to stop me, because whatever my dream is, I'm going to pursue it. And so rejection, I think, is there to strengthen us and to teach us lessons. You know, is this really what we want? How much do we really want it? How determined are we to get that thing? So yeah, rejection is part and parcel of life, and people don't really tell you that. And then a lot of people go through life trying to avoid rejection, which means that they don't end up really living life, because they're too scared to be told no, or yeah, to feel unwanted, so they avoid living life. And that is, to me, a really sad thing to be happening. So I say rejection, if you're getting rejected, it means that you're living life, that you're going out there, that you're putting yourself out there, that you're taking those steps. You just can't get too hung up on it. In the words of Frozen, you have to learn to let it go, let it go. Because when you do that, and when you have the ability to let go, there is no stopping you. Ain't no stopping you now. And a lot of the times, if you look at statistics, when people are successful, what you'll realise is that they just tried and failed more times than other people who aren't. And that happens a lot with kind of people who are entrepreneurs, who are majorly successful. They just don't allow those hurdles and those setbacks to stop them. They just pick themselves back up, look themselves in the mirror, reaffirm to themselves that they're great, that they're worthy, that they love themselves, and they go back out there and they do it again. They might do it in a slightly different way. They might have learned something from the past rejection, but they don't ever stop. If you're so scared of rejection that you're not doing things, what's the point? You're never ever going to achieve what you want to achieve. You have to face rejection. That's what I mean. It is part and parcel of this human journey. If you're getting rejected, big tick, you're on the right path. This has been Heart to Heart. No, it hasn't. This has been The Naked Truth. I am Clara Hammett. I'll be back next week with another one. If there's anything in particular that you would like me to talk on, please drop it in the comments section below. But ciao for now.